the sketch down. I've cleaned the sketch up a little bit, so done a bit of rubbing out and stuff. Now I'm cracking on getting an outline on it, and for this I'm starting with a thin one just around the eye, just because. Why is that exactly? Just because I don't want to go in with a big fat pen yet, just in case I make a mess. I'm using the Staedtler pigment liner 0.5 for this one. You can use a 0.4, a 0.3, and we could even go. I used to use a 0.1, but you know that's too thin for this kind of work. You got to work really tiny and tight with 0.1s and 2s. Personally, I don't go below a 0.4 now. That's about as small as I'll go. But I'll just do these bits, and you'll see me. I'll go back over these in a bit as well, with something thicker. But I just wanna lay that down. It's a confidence thing more than anything. So I'm just gonna speed it up a little bit. Now I'm in with the Pigma. That's a Pigma Graphic 1 I'm using there. I'm just going to speed all this up because the next bit takes so long. So I'm just going to I'm throwing this in quickly. You can see that I'm going around. It's mostly the outsides of things. If you'll notice, I'm going around the outsides of the outline. Okay, so there's the bulk of the stuff done. So you'll see what I'm doing. Okay, hat. Say what you see. Yeah. What I'm going to do, what you're going to see me doing, is I'm going over this outside line, and then I will begin to do all the details which require finer lines, and I'll go back to my Staedtler pigment liner, my 0.5 again, and then what I'll also do is I'll do some line tapering, because at the moment, you know, you've got a big, see that thumb there? I'll wind that down, see there, just there, that line is not tapered. So I'll taper that line just so it goes to a point, and I'll do that with a fine liner, because details matter. If you ask craftsmen about details, I asked a builder once about it actually. We're talking about detail, and he said if I get everything big done, and then I start to take care of the details, and he said it's the details that really make it in the end, because the eye, when it looks at the whole thing, the details create a whole picture, because the brain takes in all that information in one go, and if the details are not good, then the eye takes in a different, the brain is deciphering a different picture. You know what I mean. Anyway, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm getting in all the COVID cough, post-COVID cough, I might add. I haven't got COVID. I had COVID right at the beginning, like March 2020 or something. So, okay, so now you can see what I'm doing now. Now I'm going in with the detail, the pigment lining. This is the 0.5. I'm doing all the tiny details now. The tiny little details that I don't want to do with a big fat pen, because it will be too fat. I'm tapering this line here. There you go. Oh God, you see, I'm working off screen, which is not good, so you can't see what I'm doing there. So these lines on the hand, my fingers in the way, so you can't see. But I'm just tapering in all these fine lines, all the little folds in his gloves, and just there you go, the edges of his zip there. Some of these fine lines will be wiped out with colour anyway, because it will all be coloured, obviously. I'll do that in the next video, but I'll get them in anyway, because you never know. There we go, marker pen. Get that in there. Okay. So you can see over the years I've worked out bits which are better done in a fine line. To me they just seem more aesthetically pleasing. This is those I'm now tapering the lines around the fingers. They're the open lines around the fingers. There you go. I'm tapering off there. Now I'm doing his That's where his specs are going to meet. Also, you may have noticed around the specs that I haven't put arms on them. That's not an accident. That's not an oversight. I mean, I do make the odd oversight, I promise you. But that is not an oversight. That is because what I want to do on the side of his head is I want to put tattoos on the side of his head. So I'm using a bit of artistic license, and I'm just having those specs balance on his nose, basically, without any arms, because the arms get in the way of what I want to do. To be honest, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Did a bit of shine on his nose. Over the years, I've done lots of different noses and different ways of doing noses and stuff, and this is the one I always come back to, which is just a little sort of two-dimensional black nose with a little bit of shine on it. I started to make the nose all sort of like three-dimensional and do all kinds of stuff with it. Never liked it as much. Didn't like the aesthetic as much, so I binned it off. I'll do this again now. There you go, just fine details. In the inking stage, see, this is why I fart around so much in the sketching stage with pencil, because I don't muck about when it comes to inking. I'm pretty much straight in, and I don't do too much improvisation with the ink either. I just I let it go on the pencil lines. So I'm thickening the glasses now, and I'm trying to thicken them using a bit of perspective, because obviously the ones further away will not be as big and chunky as the ones nearest to us. So that's what I'm doing there. Just want to thicken that line a little bit. Here we go. Yeah. That's pretty much thick enough. That's in the side of his. I'm doing the peak of his hat now. Just want to get that tiny little detail in there. It won't make a difference because it's dark under the rim of his hat. So whatever colour I use, by the way, I already know what colours I'm going to use on this. I'm going to use a 3 colourway. I'm going to use a grey palette. I'm going to use a neutral grey palette. I'm going to use a green palette, and I'm going to use a purple palette. And that's it, I think. Well, I say that's it. I'll use, tiny. There might be tiny little bits of other colour, or there might not be, depending on how we go. I mean, the feeler, and I always sort of try and do it in its real colours, the blue and the red. And the marker pen might be a different colour or something, but generally, I very rarely work in green. I really bust it and do something in green. You might have noticed as well, I've done a little bit of a pencil outline as a border. Can you see it really faintly around there? Because I'm going to box it all in, and it's basically so I can fill all that, because I'm going to do background on this as well. So you're going to see me doing a background. So what I'm doing is I'm doing his little roll neck now on his trackie. There you go. This is nearly done now. This is nearly complete. Doing his little cuff there. So there you can see what I'm doing, because it's round. Lines are close together at the sides, wide apart in the middle. Just a technical thing. That's how you can sort of denote cylindrical objects, kind of thing. Okay, so a pen in each hand now as I finish off. You can see I've just cut the bottom of his thing there, because that's going to be the bottom of my frame. Just there. So I'm just putting in the bottom of his trackie and getting his zip in. There you go. Very important, get those little folds in. Give the illusion of the fold. Can you see it's just creating the illusion of the fold? That's what it is. I've not even put a big fold in there, so you can see the fold on the right hand side of his trackie as it dips in, and the zip follows the contour of where that fold would go, and that fools the eye and the brain into thinking there's a fold there when there is no fold there. See, I just tucked it in there, and that's pretty much it there. That's basically done, almost. Yeah, so I'm going to wrap that up there. I might tidy a few things up, and then we'll come back and we'll chuck some colour in it.